Hey y'all, welcome back to Convos with Bree. I'm Bree, Bree, and today is day 78 of the Visibility Challenge. Today I wrote a reflection called I Spent All My Time in the After. Y'all, I've been talking a lot over the last few days and just in general forever about how difficult it is to have all of this information that we learn, all of these things that we try, and then we find ourselves with so much knowledge, so much awareness, so much hope, and we are truly trying our best to put this new foot forward, this new mindset, this way of being and thinking. And we find ourselves not quite knowing what to do with all of this knowledge. We have the tools, but we don't know how to use them. We thought we did, but when we tried, it felt like, no, we don't. That place is so frustrating because we start looking for more information instead of learning how to use our tools that we already have. I felt stuck there for so long, for so much of my life, and I kept over analyzing the after. After I would argue when I didn't want to argue, after I would find myself responding in ways that they didn't feel good to me. And I would catch myself replaying what I had said, what I wished I had done differently, what I wished had gone differently, what I wished would have happened instead. It was this loop that kept me stuck in the replay. And I kept feeling like, okay, I've replayed it enough. I know. I know what I'll do differently next time. But then I would have another opportunity that would arise that I could choose something else. I could create a different outcome, test a theory, an idea. I could try something new. But there I was again, finding myself sliding backwards right into what was familiar. I was missing where I could change while I was in it. And then I started to realize something, and that was really that knowing wasn't the hard part. Knowing what to do, having all of this information, that wasn't the part that made it hard. The hard part truly was noticing the pattern while I was in the pattern and choosing something different before I automatically just chose my familiar response. It was fine tuning my system. And in order to do that, I had to stop hyper focusing and over analyzing when I was looking back at the situation. I had to move past where it went wrong. I had to instead start looking for when did I know that I had another choice? When was I first aware that, oh, I could do something different here? When was I aware I was getting triggered, heated, frustrated, emotional, whatever it was I was feeling. When did I first start recognizing the direction the moment was going? That's when the pattern started to emerge. I was focused on the wrong piece. I was focused on what I thought was the obvious problem. I was going over everything that was my obvious problem that I had done incorrectly. But the obvious problem, as we have learned, is not usually where the work needs to be done. The obvious problem is known. We are aware of the obvious problem. But I was still wasting time on the surface. I wasn't allowing myself to be honest about how I was handling not knowing what to do with the information. And I was remaining hyper fixated on what was obvious. I was trying to force that information to fit. I was trying to force outcomes. I was trying to force people to listen and change. But when I really started looking at where do I first become aware? Where do I first look back and notice that I knew? I knew I had another option and I didn't choose it. That's where I can start to see why. That's where I can start to map what is happening. And that is where I can start to map what changes. Tomorrow, y'all, tomorrow is all about transforming our responses. Tomorrow is about mapping a pattern. Tomorrow we dive a little more deeply. But today I just want you to dive in. I have some great reflection questions that are up at convoswithbree.com. Just some questions that make you think about maybe where you were getting stuck and what was obvious. Moments when you look back and you can see yourself choosing the familiar, where you wanted to respond differently. What happens between the moment and your response, and really what you're protecting in that space. It's all about things you already know, but maybe you've just never allowed your space to feel them, to sit in them, to hear them. Or maybe you have, but you disconnected, or you forgot, or you got far away from it. Or maybe you know and you just weren't quite ready for that level of honesty. No matter where you are, that's not the part that keeps us from growth. You can be anywhere on this journey and choose a moment where you decide you're going to do it differently and everything changes. But it's really a matter of how honest can we be? How honest can we truly be with ourselves right now in this moment? I'm so excited to let this settle, to bring some awareness to the surface. And I'm even more excited tomorrow to start mapping this out, to start showing you some really beautiful things that I have been learning that have been changing my whole life. So, again, if you want to dive in, pop on over to convoswithbree.com. I've also made it so that you can subscribe and receive letters from me when I feel inspired. So if you would like to get a little extra and get a letter from Bree, you can subscribe, add your email. And this is all for us, y'all. This is all to connect us, to bring us closer within, and to help us enjoy living our life more fully, more wholly, more us. So I hope you enjoyed. Remember, nothing that is meant for you will miss you. Be here now. Let some honesty in, and I hope I see you tomorrow for some mapping of our patterns.